very worried that Prince William could move to strip her of her Duchess of Sussex title when he becomes monarch. Of course, Harry and Meghan remain the Duke and Duchess.
Extraordinary claims that Meghan Markle is threatening to sue the British royal family and Prince William if
the palace walls are shaking, and not because of any earthquake. Whispers are spreading from Buckingham Palace to the deepest corners of Westminster. Meghan Markle is allegedly preparing the boldest legal ambush in modern royal history. According to insiders close to the Sussex Circle, Meghan is gearing up to sue Prince William if he dares to remove her Duchess of Sussex title once he becomes king. Yes, Meghan reportedly believes she can drag the future King of England into court over a royal title that was never legally hers to begin with.
I just think it's tacky and it's not a good...
The revelation has detonated like a bomb across royal and legal circles. Constitutional experts are supposedly struggling to keep straight faces, calling this the most unrealistic move Meghan has ever made from her Montecito fortress. Yet sources insist Meghan is dead serious. She believes that her years of leveraging the Sussex title in Hollywood deals, charity ventures, and media branding somehow give her a permanent, enforceable claim to it. And the timing? It couldn't be more suspicious. Just weeks after King Charles proved the full weight of his authority by stripping Prince Andrew of his titles with nothing more than a formal letter, Meghan is reportedly spiraling. Palace insiders say she has been scrambling for lawyers, not to hear the constitutional truth, but to find someone willing to validate her belief. The harsh reality? Royal titles aren't earned, owned, or protected. They are granted entirely at the sovereign's pleasure, and they can be revoked in an instant. The irony is almost unbelievable. This is the same Meghan who once told Oprah that royal titles meant nothing to her. Yet today, she is allegedly preparing for full-blown legal warfare to cling to the very styling she claimed to reject. Charles's swift action against Andrew should have been the warning shot. No royal, no celebrity, no global figure is untouchable when the crown decides. But insiders claim Meghan's Americanized view of legal rights has blinded her to how monarchy truly works. She believes years of using the Sussex title in Hollywood projects somehow give her ownership. Advisors have tried to explain that titles aren't assets, trademarks, or contracts. They're privileges granted and removed by the crown alone.
She is to Harry and to the rest of the royal family. We've never heard once since she's shown some sort of gratitude. And look what her life is. I don't mean making bag.
And it gets more staggering. Legal experts say her rumored plan isn't just weak, it's legally frivolous and bordering on embarrassing. The idea that commercial use and charity branding could transfer ownership of a royal title has baffled the legal community. As one senior barrister reportedly put it, using a title in business doesn't make it yours any more than renting a house makes you the owner. The title belongs to the crown. Full stop. Yet Meghan, sources claim, is seriously preparing to challenge not just any royal, but the future King of England himself. The audacity alone has stunned constitutional scholars on both sides of the Atlantic.
But what a week on Planet Meg. She's here, she's there, she's every bloody where. In Paris, in New York, in Washington, saying this, saying that, and, as always with the Duchess of Jargon, saying nothing that makes any sense.
The legal impossibilities keep piling up. Royal titles are part of the British constitutional structure. They exist purely at the sovereign's discretion and cannot be defended in a foreign court. Meghan may believe an American judge could overrule British constitutional law, but experts say no U.S. court has authority over royal prerogative powers. Any attempt to litigate such a case internationally would be dismissed instantly. Adding to the embarrassment, Meghan isn't even using the title correctly. Protocol states that only blood royals place a ducal title before their first name. She should be styled Meghan, Duchess of Sussex, not Duchess Meghan, a title she regularly adopts. Yet, despite repeatedly misusing it, Insiders say she still believes her situation is different from Prince Andrew's, that somehow, her Hollywood usage gives her a unique claim. The palace, meanwhile, is reportedly stunned at how deeply she misunderstands the monarchy she once married into.
Outrageous. Angela Liven, our royal mastermind, has told the truth about Prince Harry and Meghan.
Meghan is now reportedly claiming she earned her title through her years of royal service. Acclaimed constitutional scholars can barely say without laughing. Titles are honors, not employment perks. They aren't wages, rewards, or retirement benefits. They exist solely at the sovereign's discretion, and they can vanish the moment the crown decides. What makes her latest move especially bold is the timing. Right after King Charles proved how quickly and decisively he can strip titles, no debate, no delay, Meghan is preparing to challenge that authority head-on. But the legal consequences could be catastrophic. Royal titles in Britain aren't subject to courtroom disputes. They fall under the Crown's prerogative powers, which are absolute. Judicial review doesn't apply. Courts have no say. Any attempt to sue Prince William or the Crown lands Meghan in a constitutional trap. A catch-22 that makes her entire strategy crumble before it even leaves the ground.
That it's fallen apart with his brother, because he did say to me one day that he's the only person I can...
There's another problem, one so large it ends the case before it begins. The monarch must personally consent to being sued. Legal experts say this alone makes Meghan's plan dead on arrival. William, as future king, would never grant such permission. No monarch ever has. Some sources claim Meghan is now exploring a different route, filing the lawsuit in the United States, believing American courts could overrule British authority. Experts on both sides of the Atlantic can barely contain their disbelief. Sovereignty principles are crystal clear. Foreign courts cannot challenge or interfere with the powers of the British Crown. No American judge has the authority to undo a royal title or question the monarchy's constitutional rights. Attempting such a case wouldn't just fail, it could spark a diplomatic problem involving both governments. And there's an added twist. U.S. legal scholars warn that pushing a foreign royal title too aggressively could backfire under certain American statutes. While the Titles of Nobility Amendment was never ratified, related laws about foreign allegiance still exist. If Meghan is seen as prioritizing a British noble styling over American loyalty, it could raise uncomfortable questions about her citizenship status. In short, she risks far more than losing a title. Her entire standing as a U.S. citizen could be dragged under the microscope if this legal fight is viewed as foreign allegiance over American identity.
Real commentary and an interesting revelation about King Charles and the
Palace insiders say Meghan's timing could not be worse. King Charles just proved, through the rapid stripping of Prince Andrew's titles, how absolute royal authority truly is. Any attempt to challenge the crown through litigation wouldn't just be a legal blunder, it would appear to be a direct attack on monarchical sovereignty. Legal scholars warn that Meghan is sleepwalking into a constitutional crisis, one that could drag both governments into an uncomfortable corner. The British government is constitutionally bound to defend royal prerogatives. The United States, meanwhile, would be wary of supporting a lawsuit that meddles in another nation's constitutional structure. Even from a PR angle, the move is reckless. The Andrew precedent showed how quickly and decisively the crown can act without public uproar. His titles were removed with surgical precision, and the public largely approved. For Meghan to believe she can use media pressure or public sympathy to override centuries-old constitutional principles reflects a deep misunderstanding of both British law and public sentiment. Experts warn that any legal confrontation wouldn't just fail, it could humiliate her. Highlighting her misinterpretation of constitutional law risks, damaging her reputation in both the UK and the US. And the contrast is glaring. If Andrew, a blood royal with decades of standing, could not protect his titles, then a courtesy duchess like Meghan has even less constitutional protection or leverage.
And she's currently interviewing candidates to be chief executive mastermind of her business, which people have pointed out.
What makes this situation even more extraordinary is the sheer disconnect between Meghan's perceived rights and legal reality. She reportedly believes her commercial ventures and charitable work somehow grant her ownership of the Sussex title, despite crystal-clear constitutional precedent to the contrary. Experts across the board agree. Meghan has no legal standing, no viable jurisdiction, and no foundation on which to challenge a royal title decision. The Andrew precedent made that brutally obvious. Yet insiders suggest she may be misreading the lesson entirely. Instead of recognizing the futility of challenging royal authority, she seems motivated to strike first, an approach legal scholars describe as dangerously naive. Any wrong move could trigger a swift and final response from the Crown, with little standing in her way legally or publicly. Her threats highlight an even deeper problem: the clash between American and British legal mindsets. In the US, courts regularly intervene on contracts, branding, and property disputes. In the UK, royal titles fall squarely under the sovereign's prerogative, and area courts cannot touch. Meghan's American-centric thinking is completely misaligned with the constitutional reality she's facing. She may believe that celebrity influence, media narratives, or legal theatrics will shield her, but none of these can override the Crown's absolute authority over royal honors.
Is Meghan Markle in tonight?
No.
As the situation escalated, palace insiders watched with a mixture of amusement and disbelief. Legal experts described Meghan's position as so weak that any solicitor agreeing to represent her would face serious professional embarrassment. The Andrew precedent stood like a warning beacon. Royal titles can be removed instantly, publicly, and without appeal. Meghan's sense of security was a complete illusion. The stage was set for a collision between American expectation and British constitutional reality. Meghan Markle, buoyed by Hollywood confidence and a belief in her own legal instincts, was about to learn that centuries of royal precedent and the absolute authority of the monarch are immovable forces. Her threat to sue would almost certainly fail, and fail spectacularly, exposing a profound misunderstanding of monarchy, law, and protocol. If history is any indication, this attempt wouldn't just falter, it could become the most humiliating legal misstep in modern royal history. While Meghan plotted her next move, the Crown remained poised. King Charles had already demonstrated his readiness for swift, decisive action, and Prince William was prepared to follow precedent without hesitation. For Meghan, the constitutional consequences could be severe. The audacity of an American duchess attempting to litigate against the British monarchy is unprecedented, and experts warned it could blow up disastrously, leaving her with even less than she has now. The moment news of Meghan's legal threat leaked, Buckingham Palace responded with quiet precision. No panic. No frantic emergency meetings. No raised voices. The palace's legal and communications teams treated the story simply as another narrative to neutralize, something procedural, not political. The monarchy does not negotiate with drama. It absorbs it, diffuses it, and moves forward.
What they're saying, what all of us YouTubers and platforms are saying, because you need to do something differently. How does this end well?
Public reaction was explosive. Within hours, headlines across the UK and US lit up. Meghan Markle to sue future king. American Duchess challenges monarchy. Royal legal bombshell. Social media detonated. Memes, threads, debates, each sharper than the last. Commentators mocked her grasp of constitutional law. Analysts called the idea legally impossible, a constitutional absurdity, and, in one scathing review, embarrassing beyond measure. Inside the palace, staff quietly briefed King Charles and Prince William. Both remained calm and unmoved. The Crown's prerogative powers are absolute. Any American legal challenge would be not only invalid, but laughable. The palace strategy was simple: silence. No rebuttals. No public warnings. No emotional reactions. The monarchy doesn't need noise. It has centuries of precedent speaking for it. Meanwhile, Hollywood reacted with predictable theatrics. Gossip outlets speculated wildly. Influencers hosted late-night live streams dissecting Meghan's chances. YouTube channels ran countdowns predicting whether she could somehow succeed. Some sympathetic voices claimed she had a moral right to protect her title, ignoring that moral arguments hold zero weight against constitutional law. Others, far less forgiving, repeatedly cited the Andrew precedent. If a blood royal couldn't resist the sovereign's authority, Meghan certainly couldn't. In London, the legal community was brutal. Constitutional barristers issued public statements warning any attempt would be futile. One senior barrister summarized it bluntly: "Royal titles are not assets. They cannot be defended in a U.S. court. The crown cannot be sued, not by a blood royal, not by a duchess, not by anyone. Attempting otherwise invites international ridicule." The final humiliation came when legal experts publicly laid out the impossibility of her case. Titles exist solely at the sovereign's discretion. Not even a blood royal can contest removal. U.S. courts hold no jurisdiction. The Andrew precedent guarantees compliance. For Meghan, the gap between ambition and reality became undeniable. Her attempt to project strength now looked like a cautionary tale in legal naivete. By the third week, insiders say Meghan was privately furious. The palace had not budged. The courts dismissed her. Public opinion shifted sharply. The legal letters she received made her strategy look amateurish and fundamentally misinformed. Her bold threat to sue the future king backfired spectacularly. Finally, advisors urged her to retreat, drop the legal threats, shift the narrative, accept the constitutional truth. In the end, the lesson was brutally clear. Hollywood tactics cannot defeat centuries of monarchy. Media spectacle cannot override constitutional authority. And titles, no matter how glamorized, are not possessions. What began as a bombshell legal threat ended as a public warning. Crowns cannot be sued. Royal authority is absolute. And audacity has limits. The palace waits. The media watches. And Meghan Markle is left to reckon with the echoes of her own miscalculation. Public reaction was explosive. Within hours, headlines across the UK and US lit up. Meghan Markle to sue future king. American Duchess challenges monarchy. Royal legal bombshell. Social media detonated. Memes, threads, debates, each sharper than the last. Commentators mocked her grasp of constitutional law. Analysts called the idea legally impossible, a constitutional absurdity, and, in one scathing review, embarrassing beyond measure. Inside the palace, staff quietly briefed King Charles and Prince William. Both remained calm and unmoved. The crown's prerogative powers are absolute. Any American legal challenge would be not only invalid, but laughable. The palace strategy was simple: silence. No rebuttals. No public warnings. No emotional reactions. The monarchy doesn't need noise. It has centuries of precedent speaking for it. Meanwhile, Hollywood reacted with predictable theatrics. Gossip outlets speculated wildly. Influencers hosted late-night live streams dissecting Meghan's chances. YouTube channels ran countdowns predicting whether she could somehow succeed. Some sympathetic voices claimed she had a moral right to protect her title, ignoring that moral arguments hold zero weight against constitutional law. Others, far less forgiving, repeatedly cited the Andrew precedent. If a blood royal couldn't resist the sovereign's authority, Meghan certainly couldn't. In London, the legal community was brutal. Constitutional barristers issued public statements warning any attempt would be futile. One senior barrister summarized it bluntly: "Royal titles are not assets. They cannot be defended in a U.S. court. The crown cannot be sued, not by a blood royal, not by a duchess, not by anyone. Attempting otherwise invites international ridicule."